call them, I say, Mama aye. Everybody, Mama aye. Mama aye. Aye.
jọ̀wọ́ ò jẹ́ ká jọ máa gbádùn ọ̀rẹ́ mi ó ti yá sẹ́ o ọ̀rẹ́ mi jọ̀wọ́ ò jẹ́ ká jọ máa gbádùn ti ase o. Sisi mi jọ̀wọ́ jẹ́ ká jọ máa gbádùn. Aya tó mọ yáyí ló ṣe kéré ọkọ ẹ. Tẹ́lá ti pọ̀ tọ́láyé kó má ṣe gbà. Ṣé ká sọwọ́ pọ̀ dákun yé aya mi? Ìlọsíwájú aya ó bẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ ọkọ o. Ìlọsíwájú ọkọ o ó bẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ aya o. Ìdùn ńlá ni fáyà tó mọ̀ kẹ́ ọkọ. Oríire ló jẹ́ fọ́kọ tó mọ̀ kẹ́ aya o. Ó ní tèmi ò jọ̀wọ́ sẹ́ mo fẹ́ràn rẹ o. Àní jẹ́ ká sọwọ́ pọ̀ dákun yé aya mi. Ìlọsíwájú aya ó bẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ ọkọ o. Ìlọsíwájú ọkọ o ó bẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ aya o. Àní jẹ́ ká sọwọ́ pọ̀ dákun yé aya mi. Ìlọsíwájú aya ó bẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ ọkọ o. Ìlọsíwájú ọkọ o ó bẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ aya o.
You're from a Calibos, the Willy Boss. Oh, wait, that's New York for more, America for more. Taptap in tea, may cheer yourself and then in there. Never been through New York City, say, sometime. Someone will need here. Your most reliable, fast, secured money transfer app. Taptap send about New York City. Ne san say ye near 3 years ye muntino. Ya pesi a boy customers phone now. Ni say wunti Taptap send the new feature be abeka ho be boa na bon ho ban a protect so. Na so wo send ni sika ye hu nipa wo send nti ano no wo be ko app no so no upload o passport ana say o driver's license ana say o resident permit card. Who upload here? Yes, Ramo. No one say selfie. Crazy. I can't. Just okay. We are. Ebe boama Taptap send. Be mu nipa kwa or send sika every account ni mu. Our Taptap send app on also. Boyen ni ambwao. Taptap send. It's secure. It's fast. And it's convenient everywhere. Baby.
Want to get out of a job you hate? Did you know you can become a DevOps engineer and earn an average salary of £75,000? You will be highly paid. You can work from home and spend more time with your family, and your work will be respected. Train with Cloud Rock Academy to become a DevOps engineer in just 6 months. Interested? Watch our free on-demand training to learn more.
Reminding you that this is the sound of Africa. OT Radio is live and alive. This is the time we all put in our hands on this. this is the newest version, of course, the greatest time of our moments now. OT Radio has come to stay. Tune in on www.otradiouk.com, and of course, we have live activities more coming on politics, sports, social entertainment, and everything that you request. My name is Sanko Fatinan, so I'm going to be part and parcel of it. And of course, OT Radio has come to say this is the sound of Africa.
Yo, abusua for mamo ajo emamo akwaba edemo eba ene numre jumedie. Time with tap send with yourself and nana kwame or say to ene numre nso nyame waye adom waka ho de en ahyiemu a na ye jumedie ba ko pe na menu nyina ye bedi said every Thursday bia ye hyiemu na ye twetwe nkomo na ye hwe enioma ebeboa yen nititu enuanom a eti amonone said the Ebeya, Yasitinemu, any Abrabo Imuno, Ebenoma Bekoye, Ede Amayen. I best 2 weeks ago, and ye din komo efa a year. Ye di and komo efa a year. Social services, and they ye huni se na and comfort drona no ewo and sembisa efa home. Mr. Producer, pick me from Nana Kwame or say to camera. Pick me from that camera. You are picking me from a different camera. And pick me from Nana Kwame or say to's camera. That is the one that I'm using tonight. All right, cool. So you who say and who be here say ye be twitching and komo efa social services and family and they esa and komo no and ye ba be twitching social services and the family. Mamenko na menfa asida kesi asida PC emfama eye adwumaku eye Taptap send. Taptap send eye adwumaku a utimi efa so edu sika eko oman Ghana munititu and some parts of Africa. Nei womu ne kita imu ema yetimi ede dwumadie ede ebrew it is omo aye adom ema yetimi di dwumadie say ebrewa na it is just right for us to say a very big thank you to Taptap send say abreni na almost supporting ema yetimi ede dwumadie ebrew and ura Malto Growth Director ne home fan papa erintino ura Kofi Eje US lead growth lead. And they wano ena wade a year update from Taptap send ashe ebe brain. Na Kofi Eje amiati asese die ni twi ni eye pa na emom so de brofo fremu a mamo mane hamo izan se wono no papa bi wo Germany na nsen ya no me asese die Kofi Eje ni bro ni twi no aye yi pa. Kofi, good evening and welcome to the show.
Good evening. Thank you so much, Nana Kwame. Thank you so much for having me. And about your opportunity to come on. First of all, thank everybody that's on the show. Pacho, if you're in the US, now I feel I'll join in. Maybe I want to make it very clear. US in your time change. In Tibia, I'll try an hour before. UK will make your time change. In Tibia, internet maybe Nana Kwame didn't let you in, but she's saying I should not start. It starts at 4 p.m. Eastern time instead of 3 p.m. Eastern time. Okay,
Kofi, I now got you.
Exactly.
Me Ghana and na Ghana the time change ni ha.
Exactly.
Time change about UK ni America me e bin kan me.
And he said, Pacho America for if you try before now I'm back. This would be a good time to try again. Now Kwame send our kind of Pacho. What's the updates? New updates at Taptap send. 3 things. First one here, KYC. So Pacho one was a Calibos video in the crash in Sakakra. Fee Busome from February and actually even late of January, you know. Almost a year prompting for someone uploading more ID, maybe I'm a driver's license, more passports, or app, and so send a bay with security will be cleared. We're trying to create a lot of awareness. The body row was had in day pa into a mobile and one capa, and then about ye use hurdle if you or send a bay or be able to use your app now. And to see a busa say patch of our ID bra. And yes, it's coming from Taptap and it's a security measure. Yeah, but see a ball by it's more of a security around your funds. I know the first one back. Second part, and it'll be arguing with the rating now, but I'm going to say, rating in your comment. Me, I'm a kind of crap. Me, I'm this guy of your name. Yeah. By Pamucho, send a be a mouth to back and be an Anopebia, you could draft on your koto, Sicanadia, but Yakoto, your back, we don't charge a fee. Nti your code also na nya eno near the bremo. Your cousin na ya no more chase. Say it's not looking so great. Be a bon pie say towards weekend no. Na Thursday be a Friday Saturday maybe a dwemu be de kakra. But that's the issue we're having right now. At the moment the rates are not the best. And meaning say look, Senate Debia I started Jumaya mo boy and one of the biggest thing is hit me out twice when they say community Senate nipa 43 about in your race I be over 100. Continue to mean idea. And the idea, what you trusted us to do is to give you a very solid product, being able to take your funds from the West and back to Ghana. I don't think we've done a good job this week. We have not done a great job this week. We haven't done a great job this week. We've had some pending issues and we have partners locally in Ghana and a lot of times, some say, "Boy, it be a network in a bit more form." Regardless, we are responsible for it. So for that, I want to say a huge apology to the entire team. We haven't done a great job this week. But as I said, the entire Malto cry and said, Maltos in Ghana aggressively pushing to resolve some of these issues every single day. Into when you're code now, Muntino when you're code into as of an any time, we're doing I think pending issues should be reduced drastically as of today and tomorrow. So everything is coming on really nice. I think that's all I have for updates at Taptap Send at the moment. Nana Kwame, back to you.
All right, Kofi. Thank you very much. Thank you for stepping in for Malto. And Malto, we wish you a speedy recovery. Yenim say jumana oye na obrewum. Nanso siyeka se ye boa yenuanom na omusika manie eba my Ghana mu etimi akoyi amona say ye boy homodin na say jumana na oye intene say homfa papa ye ma shede ye sere this empire ye ma say beto entem. And we hope to see you on the show next week. I know you are watching, but you cannot be with us present here. But yes, still, you are with us in the spirit. So thank you for all the support that you are giving to us every time. Yeah, Director, audience, customers, say we wish you a speedy recovery. I mean, sure. Yo, I was for a movie straight to the show this evening. Said last 2 weeks, Michelle Bono, a show on career development, how ubetimi ababe opesobe social worker process ne kwanya obefa so ye ma background ne ade nyina na yehun se na enkofo dodo na ewo issues are omuhia professional advice when it comes to social services and the family. Many empany for ye de omo ba so no edi nkomo ema omo jitu se enei womo ebeba beboa yen na yatwetwe nkomo afa the social services and the family enei eno ena ye bedi hu enkomo na nyame aye yadom yen sister yi abreni na when I knock at her door. Even when it is very tight, she make herself available to come and help us on the show. And then you see why yadum and wababe kaya yanino ebedi nkomo. My first guest is no other person than our own sister, our daughter, our dear one, Miss Senorita Meseneo Kukubo. Mami or social worker and also ono ena Senorita K Limited ono ena ye CEO na yeka sa adwumakuyi a womo organize show our friends say Ghana to the world, and then as part of the program no mebo omo video kakra about Ghana to the world at the show mini about me ma adwuma akwa baba dwumadi so
so me da si bebre chika sane me
yeah the be fra don't worry.
Me Pabucho. I think I'm better than
I totally understand. I totally understand. my next guest, and so Reverend Edward Tete. Reverend Edward Tete, and so a senior pastor at Global Evangelical Church UK Streatham branch, a honum and or sign a mental health nurse. Reverend, a very good evening and welcome to the show.
Good evening. Thank you.
Fantastic. Hey, Reverend, happy belated birthday. Anna, and your baby.
Oh, it's for my wife.
And this is Mrs. Happy belated birthday. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Reverend, for joining us this evening. It was a very on a short notice. Now, so no, woje penny is in community ninti woje penny say over support Jumedi with your knowledge and your experience. Thank you very much for joining us this evening.
Okay, thank you.
And my last guest, and so my own sister. Rebecca Asantua Dakon, and also a social worker with so many years experience, and also Ebe Boy and Komotuchimu. This is Rebecca. A very good evening and welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for having me. Thanks.
Fantastic. And I know there might be other social workers almost so a work corner. So also you my guest. Example saying come to train minu nyina enti and maybe Thursday maybe ye mo and this do ebra busa people to add their contribution. You can also add your contribution. There was the last 2 weeks there was a lady in US na opese on also joining when we are doing this show. I think say mentimi am picking it in a number, but if you are on this call, please let us know so that we can add you to the guest list anytime via here obiano yetimia afro now so ababeboa on the show. So we will move on straight to the topic. Social services, social work, is it social work services and the community? Social work services and the community. You can social work services and the community and the family. And only the nano almost ye share and almost literally we say social work na you department be womb ebinomo children, ebinomo adult, ebinomo mental health near the ade. And ye who so say you know there are some people or more perception say social services for the or mobile family anymore and the debut, but social services and so many years say for the community to help the family and they beji science the muno na ne won tiase no aboan amiate na any issue bia I will make this disclaimer say on this platform we are only giving information. You cannot base on the advice that they are going to give here, say, and no any so to make any decision. If you hear any professional decision and professional advice help you can see them after the program. But on this program, it is only information and my Mami ko your sister Senorita Mami fa 15 wo can't social work social services ejuma any community na uchlema saying I'll be chlimu di achre.
May I say once again, thank you so much for this opportunity. And of course, it's not because I'm the most experienced social worker, but it's just because you wanted to give the opportunity. And thank you so much for the opportunity once again. And I thank Auntie Rebecca for also being around, and Reverend, my very own pastor, for also joining today. I want to, begin today's discussion by defining what social work is. And I mean, one of the things I want everyone to leave here today with is to debunk some of the myths and some notions and perceptions that the community have about social work. So I want to define or offer the international or the global definition of social work. So it goes like this. Social work is a practice-based profession and an academic discipline that promotes social change and development, social cohesion, and the empowerment and liberation of people. Principles of social justice, human rights, collective responsibility, and respect for diversities are central to social work, underpinned by theories of social work, social sciences, humanities, and indigenous knowledge, social work engages people and structures to address life challenges and enhance well-being. So I don't know how many people were listening to me, but I do want to believe that everybody was listening. And in nowhere in that definition is there anything relating to making people sad or making people unhappy or, separating families just for the purpose of it. We are a profession that seeks to promote social cohesion, community cohesion, empowerment, and liberation of people. So this is our, code of ethic. This is what we do. We support people. We are there for people who need support. We are the voice for the voiceless. So it's not a bad profession after all. It's not a bad profession after all. So this evening, one thing I want to say is that if anybody here, perhaps anybody is here or any family is here that are currently going through care proceedings, i.e., that is a social work term, but if they are in court, if the case is in court, if the support or the family is in court, or the local authority has decided to take them to court to seek legal advice about the welfare of the children, we would not be able to give any advice. I would not be able to give any advice because the matter is in court and we need to leave that there. But if at the back of this, anybody wants to contact me, I'm more than happy to, to support. But over here, we're not able to offer any advice around any case that is in care proceedings. So going ahead, it's about people asking questions today. My area of expertise is a children's social worker, and my knowledge is based around that more than adults. We touched down briefly on adults and I did a bit of adults, but I'm not very well versed in there. So my advice would mainly be around any issues around, someone having been involved with social services being involved with anybody on this platform here today. So please keep your questions coming. If there is anything you want to know about social services, please keep them coming. And I'm more than happy. Auntie Rebecca is here. And if it's around mental health, if there's any family experiencing mental health and needs some support around that, Reverend Tete is also here to offer that support.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Reverend Tete, very good evening and welcome once again to the show. Rev, can you tell us something brief about yourself and also Juma Oye as a mental health nurse?
Thank you for inviting me to the show. Briefly, I did publishing in Ghana, but when I came to the UK, I changed to do mental health because I met one of my childhood friends when I came to the UK who was going through mental issues, which came out of marriage problems. So I decided, no, I have to get into this and find out what really is happening. And that led me into mental health. Since 2008 up to now, I've been in mental health services, and then I've combined it with my work as a pastor. Briefly, yeah. So if you are talking about mental health, I would say a good mental well-being is the fundamentals to, our physical health. If you have a good physical health, you have a good relation, you have a good education, it all depends on your mental health. And it can help you cope with life. If you have a good mental well-being, it will help you cope with life. It ranges from worry and anxiety and, into serious long-term, worry, which may lead into depression and sometimes some people committing suicide. But we realize in the UK that it affects 1 in every 4 people, have, mental health issue in Britain here. And the majority who experience mental health will get better or learn to live with it. And they try to cope with it rather through talking therapy or on medication or other means so that they can survive their mental situation. So our mental health doesn't always stay the same. It changes depending on the situation and circumstances that sometimes you go through. like I talk about my friend, it was through his marriage that he developed this mental health issue. So people go through so many things and it ends them into mental health. But like my sister earlier said, sometimes it's difficult to talk more, but if people ask questions and the little knowledge that we have, then maybe I can share with people. We have ways to cope with it. You know, your contacting people, connecting with people can help you overcome your mental health. We have services that can help you with your mental, depending on what you are going through. And we need to keep learning about things as to how to live with it, and then how to be very active with certain practices so that you can overcome some of these mental health issues. So maybe I will leave it there, and then maybe if there's any question, maybe we'll take it and see how we can help each other.
Okay.
Because knowledge is like a baobab tree which the hand cannot embrace, as the elders say. So together we share and learn from each other. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Reverend Tete, for joining us this evening once again. Let me move on to Sister Rebecca, then we will open the floor for questions. Sister Rebecca, today we are talking about social services. I'm Ubia, one tiasie, the social services for a year when it comes to our community and the family.
Thank you. The Funyanase, Eda Taptap Fonso, as I say, Mofre say, Yemekasa. Sister Akanya, did out, but men who comment to be said, we should break it down. Social work, in simple terms, is that what we do is that we help people. We support people who are going through challenges, who are perhaps vulnerable, and those who don't have a voice, and they need somebody to advocate for them. And most of the time, there's also young principle is based on the welfare of the child, which is paramount. And to say, Bia, Abofrebi or Barobi, na nearman koye mont mean level life to senia SSO Bia levoa. Authorities, will deem them as they need help, and that's where we come in. Yeah.
Okay. So my first question will be, authorities can take akwada from the parents. Na sometimes you need say a dien enema to me no eba say me ma wo me ba na me de me ba na social service for beba say ye beje akwara na free them. A dien to me na embra no ewo ho no emomutimi take that steps no. Mama free start Rebecca, then I'll come to Rev.
Okay. Like I said, the welfare of a child in England is paramount. Ofra hu hia wo imrache se ofra hu hia papa. Enti no as I say wo ba no owo na di owo aduan as say wo hwe say ni basic needs are all met. Enti na nya se bia osurito na wo ba di ohye tight na intokru wo mu ni ade. There is so many things as I say wo parents no wo ye for abofra no na wetumi akese owo anije oda owo mpa na owo sumia na odidi on time na owo ni routine na. Enti no from where we are say social services ba beje there is a long way to get to there. Ebiana bofrana ko nursery. Yenya yen referrals for schools and hospitals and police for ebiana ko bia base abofra bia be school waba be obai no ne hu nyina paapai. I say bia won abro ne nti na abasa ɛno no bɛma wɔn refer wama social services for ebia maame bi akɔ onyem wakɔ antenatal ɔkɔ ne ɔbarima na kɔi oribue na no akasa this man won't let her speak ɛno no mo yɛ nneɛma bi a ɛyɛ indicators sɛ biribi nkɔ yie ebi nso ana obi ne ne yere akɔ a mmɔfra no wɔ hɔ ma abɔfra no koraa bi ayɛ caught up in the fight nti no ɛno nso sɛ obi frɛ police ma wa ɛno no bɛma police no aba bɛhwehwɛ mu ahwɛ nea ɛkɔ na wɔn atumi ayɛ referral ebi nso ana ɔde abɔfra no kɔ children's center wokɔ children's center no wakɔ a wɔn ho sɛ nea wɔteatea no na ebi a wabɔ no na ɛbɛma question mark anaasɛ eyebrows will be raised to say abɔntimpo na ɔrebobɔ abɔfra yi na wokɔdu fie nso a ɛte dɛn ana nti yɛn referrals do come from all these places na ɛba ɛna wɔbɛyɛ assessment ahwehwɛ mu ahwɛ sɛ dɛn na ɛkɔ and like I said or like we said before no ansa na ebedu baabi a mmerare kɛse wɔ region no na ɛkyɛ sɛ ade no emu yɛ den yiye ɛna ban bɛkɛse anaasɛ emu yɛ den a wɔhwɛ a wɔyɛ ho hwie enye yie gye sɛ authority bɛm to safeguard the child to protect the child ɛhɔ ansa na ɛbɛyɛ sɛ ne yɛrekɔ court ne yɛakɔ akɔgye obi ba sister minim sɛ wode bi bɛka ho ana if I've explained it properly.
You've exhausted the list all the way from referral stage to to the assessment stage. Sometimes our own children can go to school and say certain things, and sometimes it is what is happening at home. Sometimes it is not. Sometimes it could be that children's imaginations are running wild, and in the process of having conversations with their friends, they say all sorts. And they sometimes say to the teachers themselves, and the teachers would have to follow up. Sometimes it also depends on the school. If it's the first time, the headmistress or the teachers would call you in and have a discussion with you. It all depends on the borough or the local authority as well, and their approach to dealing with these things. Some local authorities, it depends on the local authority. So the teachers or the headmistress can call you in and have a discussion with you and say, this is what your child has said. Is it true? They will listen to you. And sometimes if the information you're given is not coherent, it's not following, how it should go, it may mean that they may have to do a referral to social services and for an assessment to be an undertaking to understand the child's lived experiences at home. Other times, the school can say, okay, we will let it slide because maybe we are seeing some inconsistencies in what the child is saying and what you're saying. So for this time, we will let it slide. So yeah, these are some of the ways that the referrals come in, and that our practice is underpinned, or we work under the Children Act 1989. That is the law that governs our practice.
Okay. I'll come back to you once again to find out what are the services that are available to families when it comes to social services. But let me move on to Reverend and also find out, Reverend, in case someone is facing mental challenges or mental difficulties, what are some of the services that are available to such a person in our community?
We have services for children, we have services for adults. But the first point of contact is to see your GP, and then the GP will make the referral to the center depending on what you are going through. Mostly it starts from anxiety, worry, depression. So we go to your GP, and when the GP finds out after maybe prescribing few medication and realize that things are not getting better, then they refer you to us, to take, have an input into yours, what is happening. We are first assess to see what really is the cause of why you are going through that particular area of mental health issue. And then with medication, sometimes we're talking therapy, you are helped, so that you can get onto your recovery pathway.
Rev, due to our culture, our background, sometimes it's very difficult, even if you know your friend, your sister is facing such a thing, it's very difficult for you to say it because of the kind of stigma sometimes attached to it. What would be the best way to go about it? If I know my friend is going through such a problem, but they are not coming out to say it or accepting it to receive treatment, how do you deal with such a person?
It's sometimes difficult if the person is not ready, because if you look, no, this country, we respect everybody's opinion. We don't just force things on the person. You know, I would say that, for example, people come to our clinic and they sometimes, don't want to talk much about things. But if you have time to sit down with them one-to-one to, explore things, with a little bit of encouragement, people come out to tell you what exactly is happening, and they are ready for, help. Because ignorance makes people not to come out to talk about things, and we look more of the stigma, but we are forgetting that it's affecting us, it's destroying us. So there should be a way out of it, and the way out of it is that you encourage the person to talk to a professional. Even if it's a professional, if it's a person, if it's a pastor, it makes it even easier that sometimes you're able to, talk to people and convince people, bring in both the spiritual aspect, the stigma, and then the medication aspect. And then some people, decide to go with the medication, others still stick to, they just don't want people to know. They want to keep to themselves, yeah. So sometimes it's difficult.
Sometimes it's difficult.
Yeah.
I'll come back to you once again. Let me go to my dear sisters. What are some of the services that are available to us when it comes to social services? Let me start with Senorita.
Okay, so depending on the difficulties, the concerns that came through our doors after an assessment, then the assessment can either say, okay, on this occasion, social services intervention is not required, so no further action. Or it can say early help services. Early help services are non-statutory, or it can progress to a child in need, or it can even progress to an initial child in need conference, which means that at the end of that conference, the child could become subject to a child protection plan under different categories. It is at that conference that a plan is put together, and i.e., for example, if the risk or the concern that resulted in social services involvement is domestic abuse, mental health illness, substance misuse, we used to call it the toxic trio, because this are the concerns that normally result in social care involvement. So domestic abuse, mental health, substance misuse. There is a whole host of risk and factors and concerns, but mostly is around these. So the family could be referred to maybe a domestic abuse service for them to attend some session that would offer some understanding. It depends on if it's the father who is a perpetrator or the mother who is a perpetrator. Then of course one of them, the one who has custody of the children or who the children are living with, will be giving some support, i.e. Domestic abuse services, or Auntie Rebecca, please help me, because sometimes I lose my train of thought. So please come in if needed. Yeah. So it depends on. Right. Do you want to come in now?
No, you carry on, and I'll copy up if anything is left.
Okay. So a referral to mental health services, and sometimes it can also be a referral for parenting sessions, parenting skills, or parenting strategies. Sometimes it can even mean that allocating a family support worker who would help with some parenting sessions or parenting strategies. So it depends on the concerns that led to social care involvement, but there are a whole host of supports available to families. Sometimes it can even be housing. The social worker can support you by contacting the housing department to say, okay, this is the family I'm supporting, they've got housing need. It could be a whole host of concerns, and we have a whole host of support that we offer, like from housing to mental health services, all of those. And we can sometimes even refer to charities to offer with like children's clothes, items for the household. We do all of that. So it depends on the concerns that came to us.
Sister Rebecca, do you want to add something to that?
What I want to add, let's say, like I said, in the name of Bruno, and as a musha baby, I if you buy now, one bru and be a fine in Tina. Send ya be breaking from the cycle from the crown. And say, well, I pretty and crown, I am pesa ye bet see near work and the be a cry. And parenting a sister kind, it will be tailored to you and your styles. Not much strategies are ubet me use instead of Bruno Quiano. If you were Honsia, we a victim, be it a man or a woman. One person will be to cry, say, we need pay your brona and koye, we need pay your tete or nankoye. Internet no one will obey your work around your confidence, and for you to know, say, near what and unacceptable. Sometimes we get stuck on that. And near like Sister Kaya housing, and so yeah, at the back, be a namu good and be brea, or be a young baby fan home to no one can say, when neglect him of fra. Into young abasi, or neglect him of frano. Ya would duty says, say, to me, letter at the support too. See a family centers, children's center, internet be a ba where to so fan kobe bia onya socialization bia or abrabono befia cinema and a stimulation bia and internet non so ya be signpost to children's centers, and we actually food banks. Ebiana near my din kakra into here help be. Ebi also school uniforms for Oma. There were links as to how you bet me a bow and also and as a section 17 I yet me a child in need as Sister Care say a voluntary ne purchase say just a walk as you here somewhere and answer and near the amount. And also your duty say be a baby here. Will be sunny sika komu like a little financial assessment. Ne say ye boya name a man to me koswa and also ye to me boa ewo. Yeah.
And also, sorry, I just remember that our teenagers as well. Mm-hmm. So we have the youth and adolescent service as well. Mm-hmm. Currently, I think at the back of COVID, there's a lot happening for our teenagers. So there is support for teenagers as well. Some of them don't want to go to school. They will make referral to some services that can support them. Sometimes it's mental health. Referral could be made to CAFCAS for them to receive some. CAMS for them to receive mental health support. And there are a whole lot of other agencies that support the youth. Mentoring. So there is mentoring as well for the youth. So where we can make referrals for an individual. There's a lot of agencies meant for it's just one that has come to mind. So we'll refer them, the young person there, and if they're willing to engage. A lot of the times our teenagers don't engage with support. That is where the problem is. They don't engage. Sometimes it doesn't matter what you do. They would just not engage. But they are also at risk a lot of the time of so many things. So yes, we've got support for the teenagers as well.
Right. Can you touch a little bit on adults as well? Some of the services that are available for adults. A little, if not, we can still move on. If you can, if there is any support or if there is any services that are available for adults when it comes to social services.
It depends on at what stage the adult needs support. So is it an adult with disability, or is it an adult that's elderly, needs to go into care home or needs to stay at home? So it depends on what stage or what level the adults need the help. So
right. At least you call question time now. Questions never for you to for us to explore and expand more on some of the services. So at this point, I think I'll open the floor. So be our question be and I say be our contribution be and I say be our particular issue be that we hear professional advisor. We have our two sisters, our reverend here, that are willing to give us their knowledge and as experience, no more at the boy educate us on what to do. Me who said banter be not banter, but some stuff were going on in the chat room. But in brief, no. Busa question bi na said you put in na am saying nkoyi papa ntina your sister back say honey nya adwe no rephrasing the question no ne dia ne say in his mind of his social services for mo support managing member no entini ya na mo ama member no enya depression enya mental health disorder your mental health practitioner wa ha edu obeboa yen ade na mo ono no wokan ade na ya mo yes ha.
Can I just say that judges acknowledge the role that fathers play in a child's life? But most of the time, fathers, most of the time, it's very difficult to get in touch with some fathers. I mean, from his experience, I of course, I don't know the background story. Yeah. But sometimes it's lack of engagement. It's difficult for social workers to contact or to reach fathers because sometimes they're simply not just available. And you'll be surprised that sometimes when we go to court, the judge can say that you need to go and look for that father or you need to go and look for that relative. So fathers, I mean, we're not against fathers, but it's just that most of the time, fathers are not in the picture. So we can do everything we want to do to reach out to that father, but it's just difficult to get hold of the father. So then that is why we will write a report and there will be no father's, views in that report, and they will tell you need to go and look for that father. So every effort is made to reach out to the father, unless of course in cases where the father poses a risk to the children, then of course you would not be allowed to have contact with those children. But where you do not pose a risk to the children and you're not in the children's life, then that is your own decision you have made. I don't want to be in my children's life. But all social workers will make every effort to reach a father. In every report we write, we will do everything possible to get through to the fathers, because we know the role that fathers play in every child's life. And it's very important that, fathers play a role in the children's life. So we don't set out to say, like someone's relationship with their child. We don't set out to do that. No, we don't.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. Meaning, say, abofra identity is very, very important. Enti no me say, answer no me kokoto no. Say me who papa ne ya menko. Just say ni ebia. Mama na ye spiteful no akase. Ore ma who abofra no papa. Eno de na ye ni any authority or power over that. But we see a father's role in a child's life as very important. Even if we are in danger, we will do a risk assessment and see how best you can have contact without the child coming to harm. Contact here so many different ways. It me as a video contact. It me as a letterbox. And just to bear that in mind. Now, young Ghana for no near how young kakran say, akakaben sem no dos. Yeah, Bema, ye pese ye no ye juma. We want what is best for the child. But we be shano na mikromofo. Obi wo ho a wa ye na asem se me wo be ba beto me wa ha. Se won me na we ba na eno no ere mwa. they see us as violent deda. Na fe we be gina wo dan anore kese munya assessment. Na wo se wore nye. Na wo se mfa ho na wo ba na wore kan dan atumu wo nanim a erepem no. Ere mmoa wo mepa chow. Enonom ni nyina ka ho na me say bia we are against fathers. No. Fathers' roles are just as important as mothers. And the children want to know their fathers. Even if you are not living together, you still have a right to see them. You need to work with the authorities, please. And I can't stress that enough, Madam Ase.
Right, before I take other questions, Rev, it seems in a situation whereby somebody feels due to stress and I say situation all come through the processes near their social service you feel say when you mental disorder kakra onipa say no at the end of to recover from this situation.
I have a principle. I don't know whether people buy into that principle. I always tell people that things that you cannot change, you don't have to worry about it. I don't know whether people buy into it because there are certain things you cannot change it. The only way you can change it, because I'm a reverend, is just to pray to make things change. But having put that aside, if the person is going through some things, he needs to talk to someone that he can trust. Sometimes talking to people takes away, the stress. But like stigma and our pride, sometimes we don't want to talk to people. So we need to get people we can trust and talk to people for counseling. We need it in such situations. But most people, especially the men, we don't want to, we always think that it's always the women who are wrong. So everything should be for us, not for the women. So it makes things difficult. So if people can learn, because if you ask my church, I tell people that there are certain things you cannot change. The only thing you have to do is that just leave it to God to handle it for you. That is my principle, which I have lived with. And I always sometimes tell some of my patients that certain situation you are going through, the stress you are going through, sometimes you need to talk to someone. Sometimes you need to, live it because you can't, there's nothing you can do about it. Have I answered your question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Right. Sabre, for a kind of honomo or any question, any contribution, Oma on Sasso or Zoom no so, and I said, Oma Yehua, Mefro, now the question about na yenuanumi abwaye, no more etimi, no ede amaye. If you've had any experience with the social services now per clarification via and no so ubitimi ede aba omo ebe boao. And I simple go through some challenge with the social services and I remember one time we had a similar program at our church and lady be no sorry through the advice from Emma, she was able to handle the situation this is an opportunity for us to explore when it comes to the social services. Ellen, unmute yourself now for a question.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My question is to the Family and Children's social worker, please. I have had recent dealings with social services where I've basically asked for support. I can't go into details due to the delicacy of the matter, but they've pretty much said I have taken steps to safeguard the children so they're not going to get involved. And I get that. I feel like it's actually a good thing for me, speaks for me. However, I did ask for support, but they've pretty much said, well, you've sorted it, so you're good. But I'm not. So this is it. I tried to get back in touch with them and I've pretty much been told they don't need to be involved. And I feel like I've been let down. In a way, it's a good thing. They've said they don't need to be involved, but I've specifically asked for support, but they've just said no.
So, question.
Sorry? Hello?
Are you done?
Yes, sorry, I'm done. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So either Rebecca or Meseneo, wait me applique Amame. I hope you got the question.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Asamne says, sis. Ebi wo ha wahu. Yeba yewo dana no krana na say yaba wa brabo ni mu no. We ask where your family are. Who family network, who support network wahi. So when nyina ye in place, then I don't know what support you wanted and whether you were specific about the exact support. And I still I will say no. No be or better support no kra no be sending say support bang and now pan because we are trying to safeguard. Why you no nyina wie then support ana is it within our remit to give you that support? And have you been specific about the support you need ana? And each case is different, and I don't know what the circumstances were.
Yeah.
In
yeah,
we can talk at the back of a
yes, that would be really helpful.
Yeah, not because without knowing whether we can specific support, no, and I still I want now, and I say one about the financial assessment, no one who say won't qualify, no.
Yeah, it wasn't about finance.
So I won't be able.
I actually had a mental health support worker. I'm a member of the military. I've just come out actually, and she went ahead of me at the start to ask for this support for us. She's also a social worker, but is currently working in a different role as a mental health support worker. So she went ahead of me to ask this question. And they pretty much said to her what they said to me, which was the fact that I had taken steps to safeguard the children, so they don't have any input. So she said to me, maybe if I did go and ask, they might listen to me and maybe step in. But I pretty much got the same from them, that they have no input here. Okay. And I get that there's no risk to the children or to anyone, but it just felt like I was being told, just bugger off, you're fine.
Me pacho you, my casa offline. Now, if there is a letter we could support you to write, if it's in writing, it carries a lot of weight as well. I don't know if you've done that already.
I did think of emailing them, but I haven't got around to that yet, because I thought that if I started a paper trail, that might make someone sit up, but I haven't got around to that yet.
Yeah. Because that's evidence, you know.
Yeah.
And we can talk offline. Why? Sister,
all right, thank you.
What did be back on?
I just want to say that of course this goes to show that social services, we don't poke nose into people's lives. Absolutely. If there is no need for us. We want to promote autonomy as much as possible. But whatever your circumstance or the situation is, as Sister Rebecca said, we would be able to support you, get to the bottom of it and get, the help that you need for yourself and your children. So for everyone here, I guess you are getting the understanding that we just don't come into people's life if there is no real need for us.
Absolutely.
That is the only.
No, I'm a strong believer of that, because I've seen it from both ends of the scale.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ellen. Please get in touch with them. Please inbox them privately, exchange contact details. Then after the program, they will be more than happy to assist you.
Thank you.
Let's move on to Martha. Martha, unmute yourself now for a question, bro. After Martha, we move on to Phoebe.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Mami.
Pacho, a question here. And compare me bisa concerning asema ye can say ebe say law no a favor a man saying a man. But video be I did send me. Now Papa no, according to Papa no, the Mamini Free Africa, and a buy or didn't share school, and or call nursing school, a year, 2 years after no. Say all dinner so according to the man no na akasakasa bi kakra ebe omumu ansa na office ye kwa adwuma oba anopa no mami na buebua ne niam ne nyina atu na fife se on fifie hanko na fie no so onu na otoye ansa na mami ni ba. So in such a situation, because Papa ni say on person fan sanka no, but mami ni yin niam nyina guna bonti in the winter period because law ni favor a man in tiana say identity na ya e yes na say e basa e jebe na omuye di protect e mema no.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Say,
so who threw whose things outside? Hina no yin the yonko niema.
Obama niema ni go abonti so fifie anko oba no patututu from eduma. Ebisi wo US ha. No mu ye Nigeria ni. Papa ni di oba ni basa di ni she nursing school o ye no. Papa ni person fa ni mami ba no be bua fe no. Mami ni si debi. On fa ni mami bi ama ba onu di ni mami ba ye. Oba ni di mami ba ye. And omu mienu omu ye ba ku papa ni so at the end of the day no papa ni yi tuo di kun ni yire no. And on frere police say wa kun ni yire ento on be fa nko. Na ba mami na titi sa onim ni obe ya abrabro mu bio. Ento no ku mami no. So in such situation mu ye dendi protect e mema no. Mema omu aggravate omu akuma and got that kind of sense ombe yini pebi afiriase. My question no.
Wow. Me pacho nya maybe sande say mofra wo won temana.
Yes, you America hanu mofra miensa wo muntem.
Wo ye mofra nketwa.
Almost the oldest one here 12 years.
Okay. So when we have issues like this, yeah, and I'm talking about UK law, mofrano edu baby a wobetimi abisa wonse wo person hinan cheng and awotna. So their wishes and views come in as well. Normally nieme base bia obia no no wo power ne say merima no kwadwuma and amia no ye primary carers. No, Emma Mofrano, obviously they want to stay with Miano. But assessment looks at everybody and their strengths. No, say Oberimano better able to meet the children's needs. As in Obiana, Warren Kesekere, can we all be no or the Mofrano Erijao. It's about who has the capacity, who is better available, and who is better equipped to look after these children or meet their needs. Also, all cases are different. Minim se ebia na warikwa warijaima. You where you need but he also has a right to say Obefre police, and then they will be able to look at it. It looks like a baby our Obefre lawyer crab them. No one who said mediation now mama now. Are you able to live back together? And if not, where do you go from there? I don't know if I'm making any sense.
Please, can I also sort of step in? For a second, if that's and I said there's a queue with.
if you want to make a contribution,
I just wanted to comment on what she said.
Go ahead.
Benedicta. I'm a social worker myself. Okay. I've been practicing for like 2 years now, so I do appreciate your Mokano. I think with what the lady raised in America, and say, then a man and the power no. I think so for the UK hanum no. The basics ne say once or banyim by default no, she would be like the primary carer. Unless of course there are some circumstances around the pregnancy, say the mental health and all of those things. And she wouldn't be able to cope, and I said she wouldn't be able to sort of care for the kids independently. I just say Obi Ebuano. Into by default, no, Obano would be the primary carer. Now it's down to the woman to give parental responsibility to the partner, and I said the husband. And that could only be done if Obani decided, say, Obe name Papa no on the birth certificate. I think say legally, no, that is the starting point. And to say Obano name Obemano as Abia and Kolani Papa on the birth certificate, then she's willing to share that parental responsibility. And then I friend PR no. And sometimes no, Obeshe no, Obano only Bema now, but Obema ni di in Kolani birth certificates no. And so we didn't need birth certificates in this one. In case of anything, no, abani nimo. Even though you are the biological father, no, legally you're not the father. And so even if you wanted to take custody of the children, it's a very long procedure. It means obeko court, obeko DNA test. Now, anything that I'm at the BMB feel say, laws no, they favor a man, and I think say. This is what the government do in order to also protect the women, because you show the rate of domestic violence and how women are affected and becoming victims all the time. They need to sort of bring certain laws a bit protected in order to mitigate those kind of risks. Because domestic violence in a bar, the children are so like impacted, like within that kind of environment. And to all these things, it's not like the government is being biased, but I guess it said they see the women as more weaker, and so they also need to do something to protect, the women. And
Benedicta, the question was more towards situation be say a dean a bear man a dean embrabe and as a dean to protect the men as well. I don't think Obani Bema automatically Oba upper hand over.
Unfortunately, and yes, or upper hand, but I think said to begin with, so Obana name Beman on the birth certificate. Now, circumstances nearby. You or Beman, you don't really have a say, like I said, unless you want to go to the courts, and it starts with that DNA, biological, whatever test. And I don't know if the ladies would want to throw a bit of light, but that PR,
what I actually wanted to say one is that in UK, I'm talking about UK because this particular one happened in UK. Papa no di mamini ba ikono. Ono di ni share school, we school no. Say all Jessica nenti o pecha ni show they say one paniso. Ntokwa ka krabi ba ya answer papa ni ekwa adwuma. Oye night. Okwa adwuma ba e no. Mami wa ba papa ne Niame nyina so on 5 year hanko. Enti niame kan papa ne na ato ni fie e no di wu aba. Ahwew akọ school. Wa school. Say yes is it because law ni favor a man same man enti na ya a man bi yes na.
Okay, because, can I share add a bit to what my colleagues have shared. The no law favors women. That for me, that is the starting point. In this current situation, the woman has asked the man to leave the home or has put the man stays outside. Okay, there are children involved. First of all, the man can approach the police and other services that, of course, would assist him in dealing with this matter. So in this situation, it's not about the law favoring the woman because the woman is got the children. The man, first of all, needs to seek help. If he seeks help, he would get the help that he needs. It would look like the woman is winning. That is because there are children involved and no agency would come and put the children outside with their mother So that is the only thing favoring him. But it's purely not because laws favor women. I have written assessment and reports that have made recommendation for children to remain with their father. And that is not because, it's just because I see the father to be the better carer than the mother. So no law, from my point of view, no law favors woman. It just depends on the circumstance and the situation. And like Auntie Rebecca has mentioned before, every situation is different. So if in one situation it looks like things are going right for the woman, it does not mean that the law is favoring the woman. Like I said, I've written recommendations before that, and I said, no, mom can't look after the children. The children should remain with their father. So no law favors any woman. It depends on what is going on and the circumstances at the time.
And from your sister Kaino, it doesn't even sound like social services are involved. This is purely a civil matter. That's how I'm hearing it.
Yes.
So in this case, a family lawyer will be needed to deal with this case. Either the family lawyer, family law lawyer, ever recommend is omunko for mediation service before maybe go to court or something of that sort.
And even if it goes to court,
there will be paperwork to prove that this is the man's house, and then they will look at ways forward. So it's more of a civil matter, and divorce lawyers coming in more than the authority, really.
Just to add on to what you just, I didn't mean to interrupt any of you, but this is something, I actually saw the video myself yesterday. It's a WhatsApp video being circulated, and I saw the man and, the lady taking his stuff out. So basically, in such a circumstance, we don't even think about social services because in the Western world in particular, even in Africa, wherever we find ourselves, but you find it more dominant in the Western world because the law is really enforced. So, and it's also about knowing your rights and understanding the country that you live in and the rights that protects you. So in the UK, even if you have joint ownership properties, under no circumstance would one actually be able to say that I'm driving you out, I'm sending you packing, because the law works. So in that particular instance, that gentleman, what he should have done was to just phone the police. For that video that I watched, all he should have done was call the police, and the police would just intervene. So in response to Auntie's question, law does work, and the law would always be on your side, obviously, if you're doing right, or even in circumstances, as we know, people get lawyers and they defend the case even when they're in the wrong. But that man, as he said, clearly owns the property. So when the wife was doing that, all he had to do was to phone the police, and the police will obviously direct you, because she didn't have any right to throw him out in the first instance. She doesn't own the property. So with the men, you should understand that as much as you feel that women sort of maybe have or are being favored by law, the law works on your side as well. So our dear men, have that confidence, know your rights. You can even Google it if you're in doubt. But in the first instance, please try and call the police. And I think the man did quite well, because I think the lady was trying to provoke him to touch her. So then she would have, that case against him for being, violent or abusive and all that. And as he was recording for his own evidence, because obviously he knows how the country operates, but the law is on both sides, not just women. So if you're in doubt, just phone the police, and the police would obviously tell you what to do. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Ifwa. One thing that I've realized is that sometimes the law favors the women, so we don't seek help. We should try as much as possible to seek help. Ask for advice from social services, from lawyers, and they will advise you, and you realize you have a right as a man, wherever that you are. There's one example at some point in time, Meshe, and I think we will all come to a point to understand that whether we are bar, we are Bema, will be our right, wherever that you are. My main for Phoebe, if you are there, Phoebe will drop it. It's Esther.
Wow.
Okay, Phoebe, you can go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, me pacho, good evening to you all.
Good evening.
Me pacho, me wo Germany.
Mm-hmm.
And me wo imma ewo UK, staying with their father.
Okay.
So like 2 years, almost 2 years ago, minya a call from the social service from UK, sir. My children were abused by their father and their stepmother. So I think a neighbor called the police and the children were taken to foster care. So in the process, they've been calling me, I've been talking to them, blah, blah, blah. And later on, I just got a call from Ghana that one of my child is in Ghana. I have 3 children with him. So later on, I got a call that my mom called me from Ghana saying that, oh, yeah, Obaba na Bagano, or say, once nane papa hobium, but Obeba Germany, or the Akolaniko Ghana. And up to now, my child is in Ghana and the other 2 are there. I cannot speak to them. I cannot see them. I don't have any contact. And I want to know the way forward. What to do next?
When he was sending your other daughter to Ghana, did he inform you?
No.
Okay, I mean, there's a lot of things at play here, but I think let's deal with the first things first. I would like Auntie to add a bit as I go along. If
when
you want
he
to
was
have
bringing
contact
to UK, he didn't tell me. And when he was taking my daughter to Ghana too, he didn't tell me.
Okay. First of all, if you want to have contact with your children in the UK who are in foster placement,
now they are with the father. I learned that they return the children to the father.
Oh, they've returned them.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, most of the time they would probably even try to contact you to see if you can have the children. But because they've returned to their father, I'm sure an assessment has been done and it's been confirmed that he can look after the children without exposing them to risk. But if at any point you think that you want the children, of course, I don't know the circumstances under which they've come to their father. But if you want the children in your care, I'm sure you're more than welcome to approach, the local authority, and if they need to do any
the thing
assessment.
is, they were asking if I can move to the UK.
Okay, yes.
But I have a husband and a child here too, so I cannot move to the UK.
Okay.
And they also said, okay, if you cannot move, then the children too cannot come here because they are British. They cannot come to Germany.
The education will be disrupted. Yeah.
Did you at any point travel to the UK to see these authorities, sit down with them and speak to them about your views?
No.
It doesn't look good.
Okay. That's yeah, because one mommy. Yeah. And I don't know circumstances by Intia. What's a baby now? Mano ewaha.
Ye jai wo Ghana ansana ono no ti UK. Ena ye jai wo Ghana na me mete Ghana ene nkwala no. Ena ye jai nti ye jai no na I say so be hwe nkwala na ubenya bi odis ka beba na ubenya bi edine de onfa mma. And it was very difficult. So na ne mami ba in so okay. So on first can ma because nkwala ni tifi omunko school ni nyama ne fa nkwala ne bre me. Na wonko school ha. Na wonso nko pay dwuma ye se na be ya obetimi aboa. Na ye nyina ya hwe nkwala no. And I thought, okay, it's a good idea because me ne nyina wo Ghana ye baby ayete no enwa. So I can do that. And I made nkwala no call. Intimidating me opportunity me ba Germany no. And I make a chance say me money ya we so ma be do Germany. Me de me contact man me the address baby me wo bia me de man. And I me san mama ase me so hu say me wa ha say. Into ono hu say me ma ba na anche e no be fa nkwala no koye. Wan kan kire me. Into me ma me sister ko ho de nyama ko ma won no hu say nkwala no yesi won ko UK o. Me try say me contact no block me. So last time we see me man de one kwa won ni me na mind no. They gave them my name on Facebook and I won't share me. So the social workers contacted me through Facebook. And now there was a Nigerian social worker. He was doing really good. It's a son or no, and the idea before for buy, and that is where the problem started. My friend, sometimes you see a Zoom meeting with the lawyers and things. My friend, he will not.
Justice Eric Bache said, Honorable Kennedy Japan carbon ibia.
He will not answer my call. They say 1 month, my friend in Sanka. So he was working with the father. He was working with the father. And you know, I got to a point now, my bread, because my friend, the father to have rights. I'm not saying that he doesn't have any right. He have rights, yes. If my children are there, I don't have any problem. But the abuse must stop, and I have to see my children.
Phoebe,
and I have
Phoebe, sorry for me to come in here. It looks like, sir, you need to contact one of our social workers or more lines. So I think, sir, in your question, bia na umbetimi abusa ewa ha, and enye wonso na same bia na ubetimi aka ewa platform. But behind the scenes, they will be able to ask you deep questions for them to be able to assist you in terms of what to do next. Please contact them in their private chat. Take their contact details so that they will give you proper advice for you to take the necessary steps so that you can get in touch with your children. Why?
You like every case is different. Now sana ebedum pompon do there is so much they would have explored, but maybe who just like listening to Sister Anna is that but because of Mofraninti differences and Montrai say you will work together. Well, because what Beppe says, when I only hokrana, where Busianfo here now, who is here that can step in? What you say? Into the yano Becca Sawetri, but it's just to let everybody know that we would have explored the mother. We would have asked whether there were any other options from her side as well as the man's side. And we always have to bear in mind that it's about protecting the children. So whoever is able to do so, then they are the ones who care for the children. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's pick Esther. Esther, please unmute yourself and ask your question. Esther iPhone.
Damasi. Meso me deɛ kakra and ekom me nua me ma no ho. Say there are a lot of you guys that send the women to school with the intention that they're gonna take care of the family. Say depa and someone try someone so anye bia mo so mo be ko school ni bi. Na mo so my educate mo ho. Nti mo do educate yourself wi a we be start adwuma no ba no so start bi. Because most of the time, we shot 90%, it doesn't work. A man of course school, at the end of the day, Nenima and Koye. Into Monso Monshe. And Mam, I join you say, oh, me, because you're in a Kugusa basket with the intention, say, Ninabe Hatchin, I'm so my enjoy life. Into media cram with the Bema, Minia Memanos.
Yo. Yanko chat room on say few questions be coswo na memfa ebi enfambra na yenhwe na yentwaso na so question bi nso a obetimi enso amount so zoom no so na mabusa ediama we say please, I have a friend whose daughter is an autistic. The father has neglected the girl's responsibility to the mother. No support for the child. No support for the child's upkeep. What can she do to get the father's involvement in the child's care?
It's tricky.
Very.
The honest truth, social services, apart from the support that maybe you might be receiving because your child, has got special needs, we don't force fathers to be there for their children. I would give you a call, have a discussion with you, try to tell you the reason you should be in your child's life. If the man is in agreement, we would then go ahead and put some plans and actions in place. We have what we call family group conference. We can get family members involved to, put support and services, support in place. Sometimes it's up to the family members whether they want to engage with it or not. And it's sometimes up to the fathers whether they want to engage in it or not. Okay, that aside, if you want to go to the legal domain, initially you might seek mediation to get the father to be involved. If that does not work, then you can apply to the court. But again, even if you apply to the court and they get him involved and put an order in place, most of the time, if fathers don't want to be around, it doesn't matter what you do. They just don't want to be around. Worst case scenario, if he is working and you know his details, then child support. I don't promote that because I know the impact that it can have on the relationship between the father and sometimes it damages the relationship even more by you going to what's called CSA, child support maintenance. By you going there, it causes further problems. So I don't even support that. It's up to the father's conscience most of the time. Auntie Rebecca, I don't know if you want to add anything more to that.
And I think and there's not much you can do. You've done what is right by your child. It is their child as well. And if this is how they want to deal with their own child, at the end of the day, Nyankopon ma responsibilities over them. And if he wants to fail them, there's not much you can do. If I may just add that Sister Wowo Germany, we're not judging, we just heard a little bit of the journey, and that's why you see, we wouldn't come here and judge anybody. Like we have said, case be different. And us reaching out to you or speaking to you offline will be to see what can be done. Yeah.
Okay. Let's pick Sister Jackie. Sister Jackie, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Let's say or be a single parent. Now, like or name some of the Mano has maybe medical needs, things like that. Now they want housing, we overcrowded. Now more per housing, not cancel for no can say okay, to me help ya. Can social service bit must be in as in safeguarding, in terms of safeguarding from Kolana na. And then my question.
Okay.
If there is a risk of significant harm, of course, social services will become involved. Then at the back of that, they would support with housing. But if there is no need for social care involvement, what is the level of learning need your children have?
Not for me personally, but you'll be a minimum. Na Okitankola 3. Na Nkola 3 no it be bakuntimi nante and like the first floor with steps, no lift. Inti debia so peja akola no, like akola need to push chair move by so peja and or break and all catch a cancel and say or maybe I'll pay ground floor flat. BB or like housing like BB a ground floor. And I cancel no say omuni like omu not to waiting list so. But no, cause up and down, because I don't collide, so don't cause too much. And she asked me. Now says I don't know, but now I'm on this platform. I just thought I should ask.
Does the child with a disability have a social worker?
Baby.
no support from anybody at all?
No, she hasn't or apply for council on medical grounds. So now like first class. But council got back to her to say that they'll put her on waiting list because there's no availability. There's no house. They don't have a house. She can rent privately. But because only a single parent, Nisi can endorse it to rent privately, like as a sole income way,
If you can message me, private message me, or I don't know if Auntie Rebecca has anything to say.
Mine was going to be simple. Seek an audience with your MP. Or seek your audience with MP. Now, on cassette, situation, and nobody is doing anything about it. Also, the disability, is it diagnosed? Or medical paperwork, on gather, MP, I'm at the end of my tether, I'm breaking down. Somebody has to do something about it.
Okay. All right. Then.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's good advice because ordinarily, was social worker myself, and I'm a practicing manager actually. My background is in social work. I keep batting in. But in this circumstance, if that child is known to social service, I'm quite surprised because ordinarily, so you're under LD team, whether physical or I don't know what level of, if it's mobility needs. By now, occupational therapist. It to me assess if more housing assessment and mobility and transfer assessment for Colano. And from that, they would get a report from the OT plus a GP report, and then that would actually be sent to housing. Send a more priority needs. What barrel more also.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
And what kind of because it seems that they're not very proactive.
Yeah.
And even the mother, Nokrano, should have her own carer's assessment in her own right, because for all you know, she might need some respite. Yeah. That family needs to have some form of assessment. The child or the children in their own and their mother as well. So adult services should be dealing with the mom, and then with the children, it should be with the children's services.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so
but then obviously, reporting it to the MP, the MP will just send a members' inquiry, which will still be filtered down to housing and social services anyway. But then that would make them, because every time when we get members' inquiry, we're always shaking because MP would want to know what their constituent, that would tend to quicken the process. But it's a shame that people have to come to that point.
Can she refer herself to?
Yeah, she can self-refer. Yeah, she can.
Okay.
Or ask the GP to refer her as well.
Okay.
But I'm quite surprised that she's got a child that cannot walk. I don't know what age the child is.
He walks, but not all the time. Like
how old is the child?
He's 7. On Antikaka, no, I bread.
The GP that needs to come to the GP. So in fact, all that needs to be started by a GP, and then everything else follows. So the stories are not.
Yeah. The school should also help because the school should have some.
Yeah, you got all the reports. Why you none of their call housing? No matter what did the letter from the school or their call housing? Almost say on medical assessments, but it's taking a year. Since she applied,
probably raise the safeguarding against the housing team and see how quick they'll go with the process.
No, housing are a force on their own. Yeah, housing are stubborn. That's why I'm saying, were rights. Yeah, were hey, Obiara were rights, and you are within your own rights to go to your MP, and it will get somebody to listen. I've helped people on this on such issues, so I know why I'm saying that. Speak to your MP. They will soon listen.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. Sir Obi Ewo, any other question? Say at this point we will move on to the Taptap focus session, whereby we also help those who are having issues with their Taptap Send accounts. So if you have any other question, this is the time. Otherwise, I'll ask my guests to give their final comment or their final words. Then we will bring this section to a close. Then we'll move on to Taptap Send focus section. Let me take Phoebe for the last time. Phoebe, yes, you.
Okay, be patron pese me bisa in this case no me bana wakodi Ghana no for some time now no it be an enkrata asem no because the papa anja the passport the BBA amano over 14 years. So in this case no say obekwa baka because me auntie wo pesenka o manembra back. So in this case no I don't know.
Phoebe, say, I will still say, we need to explore more. Baby Awokwe is becoming more of immigration issues, not more to social services. And we need to know more about the saying and Okodu Ghana and San Ibehu say, right being obowo I'll beat me as back BM. There's more to it. I say and penny for and guess you on then they will point you to the right direction, what to do as a open on sign back to the UK or to your you know, please take their contact details unless it's Rebecca or Rita has something to say.
It will start from where was the child born. And the birth certificate way. That's our starting point.
Okay.
And we take
she
it
was
from
born
there.
In Ghana. Yeah.
Okay. Just call us. Yeah. We'll leave it at that for now.
All right. And the message says, Sister Rebecca and Senorita saying Hamua and Reverend saying Hamua and come on for more contact details. If you want anything regarding mental health, you can contact Reverend Tete. Anything to do with social services, especially with regards to child, contact Sister Rebecca and Rita, and they will be happy to give you right advice, where to go, what to do, and you will take it from there. So Rita ni Sister Becky say hamuna mubit me de mo contact details they are to chat through one more amaya. Miss Remwa yeah, and I'm going the right time. I'm over contact you. It's as almost full time. Then say now I'm number 2 on your from Yemfa. There be Miss Rebo. We are one of the boy on this show and on person community. No, that is why we are pleading with them. Say a better possible. Enka number 2 on my na say ebia obi here Miss Rewo and yes I feel now also call advertising the number say obi here there be Miss Rewo we kakra bi no mo boy into mo kite musa. So Sister Rita any Becky mbetimi the number 2 and also Reverend, right? So let's take your last words before you will go. So I'll start with Sister Rebecca, Rita, Reverend.
Kwame first sister and me type me number not to.
Okay, Sister Rita, can we take your last words? You are on mute, so if you can unmute yourself. Yes, you are still on mute.
Okay.
Yeah.
My closing remarks would be that members of our communities should have different perception or should have a positive view about the role of social workers. We play very important role in families' life. We're not just there to remove children. Before we get there, a lot must have happened before we get there. So if peradventure you get a call from that school or you get a call from somebody to say, well, we have to make this referral because this and that has happened, and you get a social worker knocking on your door, open the door, let them in, talk to them, don't be aggressive. They are human beings just like you are. Sometimes, depending on how you work with social workers, they could go the extra mile to give you all the support you need. But sometimes our community, the way we respond to them, you see people even cursing social workers. They will tell you point blank, I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to pray against you. It's a very, 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 very disabling, and it doesn't help us. So please, let's open our doors. When the social worker comes knocking on your door, engage with them. They would offer you all the support. Sometimes it's just a matter of you engaging and doing all that they've put on the plan for you to do, and it will take that social worker to come out of your life. But when you refuse to engage, they call you, you won't pick up, they come to your door, you won't open the door. You are giving them more worries. You're giving them more reason to worry and more reason to want to escalate the support to maybe child protection, from child protection to call. You give us that ammunition. In the last 2 weeks, I saw someone's comment when I said social workers don't remove children. It's judges who make the order. The person said, but social workers rather report. Yes, we rather report based on what we have come to see in your home, based on what is happening for you, and we present it to the judge that this is what we have seen. This is what is happening. And the judge will say, oh, based on that information, I think the child will be safe elsewhere. So we don't make decisions to remove children. We come in with a view to support you. But if things don't improve, then we may have to look for alternatives. So please open your doors to us. And fathers, work with social workers, engage them, be part of the process. Don't be left out. Ask questions, get involved, put your jobs aside and be in your children's life. That is what we all in, because they are the future leaders. Whatever we do today, we'll reap it tomorrow. So fathers, please, let's be involved. And mothers, make it easy for fathers to be involved in their children's lives. Thank you.
Mothers, make it very easy for fathers to be in their children's life. Because if you be muna akoda bi ye boni, ni mami aka wontie, ni papa hey, what happen akola no pejanity and say hey. It's very important that Papa will be in the Akolani life, because the father's role is different from Nema Mini role, and both of them have a role to play in a child's life to make a Akolani what God wants them to be. So please, let's collaborate. We will bring them back again, the social workers here, and we will add one family lawyer to it. Then we will analyze some cases. Maybe na me one krata who need krata the American and we answer Mr. Araba say question time near the my uncle Sister Rebecca Honomo.
But
your question is, me 1 second and then your question.
Fantastic. Okay, Araba, you now for young Sister Rebecca.
And we dwelt so much on children, social, but next time now we'll be inviting honorable guests, about adults as well. I have so much to talk about adult social services.
I think I'm say who joining a bit late, kakra. And say ye 15 and make us say ye nyina a guest. Na say who any experience or where as times goes on also be media ba. I'm say me massa kwan no. I'm say be I will join here late, but I will do my possible.
I heard, but I didn't want to interrupt the guests because they were talking. They were saying giving us a lot of information that were very, very useful. So I didn't want to.
Please send me your number direct to my chats na pick your number na yenkasa after this show. Why?
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your contribution. Right, let's move on to Sister Rebecca. Your last.
Okay, I think Sister Kanina Nyameka say we are simply here to help. That is our main goal. And we're not going to do against you. We are here to work together and say, accept here. It will give us a better background of you. It will give us better insight of you and your situation. Like I said, every situation is different. We don't know. We've only just had a referral. Talk to us. Talk to us and let us do what is best in the child's interest. Thank you.
Thank you too. Reverend Tete, if you are there, we want to
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you. I want to say that if you can get us another day, just especially for mental health, so that we can have time to talk more. Because after COVID, a lot of people have gone through mental issues, stress, and especially the young ones, and need to support each other. So I would suggest that we get a day possibly for mental health, so that we can have a panel to discuss a lot of things. People are going through stressful time. People look at the stigma, but they still come for their treatment. I know few people who work in the banks who come for treatment, even though they are Africans. They put their suit and everything in their car, and then they come out as ordinary people to have their injection and medication and go back and put on their suits and go back to the bank to work. Nobody knows they are suffering from any mental health disease, but it is keeping them going daily. So let's not think about stigma and coil ourselves indoors and suffer this mental health issues. So please, let's come out, and I'm ever ready to help anyone who is going through stressful time or going through depression. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Reverend. And we have Reverend's details, Sister Rebecca's details, and Rita's details in the chat room. Go into the chat room, pick their contact numbers, and when you need any help, please give them a call, and they will be happy to assist you. Yo, Abusiafo, I had no brother did this section ABC. Said I will organize again and bring them back, and I'll add one family lawyer to it. Now, explore some of the issues also within our community. Now, resolve some of these challenges that we go through. At this point, if Kofi AJ or Honoma Kofi, but you'll do me this, Anna. Now, say a big thank you to our guests for us. Then, moving on to Taptap Sen Focus session. Kofi.
Absolutely. First of all, thank you so much, Auntie Rebecca. Somebody in the chat said your voice is soothing. So first of all, thank you for that. And Auntie Rita, I heard your remark before. You made a statement saying your chew is better than mine. Okay, thank you for coming. No, but seriously, I think you've been with us for a couple of weeks back to back. Thank you, seriously. The community we've created here is quite responsive to you. So thank you so much for making the time. And obviously, Reverend Edawasipa, thank you so much. I know you highlighted that at some point we'd like to discuss more mental health issue, which I think is a very soft subject that culturally we often put a stigma on. So thank you so much for bringing that. And I'm sure Nana Kwame will put that together sometime in the future. So thank you guys for just making time for us, because thank you so much for making time for us. So thank you. Now Kwame, back to you.
Thank you, Kofi AJ. Some will be joining on this show. We will bring them back once again. So I'll bring them back. At this point, we will take one quick commercial break. When we come back, we will move on to the breaker room. Breaker room no omo issue omo Taptap Sen account no so omo hia emwa bomodia echo breaker room 1. Na say won't share any problem be or suggestion and a contribution be for Taptap Sen. Said you be app no be user friendly, and as something that you want to see on the app, we will open the floor and Kofi AJ will be in the seat, and we will take all your contribution and your suggestions. Producer, if you are there, give me 2-3 commercial break. Na ya back pet. Now you be breaker room no Eddie Atum. Producer.
Hello. You're from the Calibos, the only boss. Oh, wait, that's New York for more, America for more. Taptap in tea, may cheer yourself and then in there. Never been through New York City, say, sometime. So, Monitia, your most reliable, fast, secured money transfer app. Taptap send about New York City. Ne san say ye nia ye tre ye shemunti no. Ye pese boy customers phone now. Ni say hunti Taptap send the new feature bi abeka ho be boa na bo ho ban a protect so. Na so wo send ni sika ye hu nipa wo send ni. Nti ano no wo be ko app no so no upload o passport ana say o driver's license ana say o resident permit card. Who upload here? Yes, Ramo, no say your selfie crazy. Aka ho. That's okay, we are. Ebe boama Taptap send. Be hu nipa ko a o send sika every wo account ni mu e o Taptap send app no so. Boyen ni amboa o. Taptap send. It's secure, it's fast, and it's convenient everywhere. Baby.
Reminding you that this is the sound of Africa. OT Radio is live and alive. This is the time we all put in our hands on this. This is the newest version, of course, the greatest time of our moments now. OT Radio has come to stay. Tune in on www.otradiouk.com, and of course, we have live activities more coming on politics, sports, social entertainment, and everything that you request. My name is Senorita Meseneo, so I'm going to be part and parcel of it. And of course, OT Radio has come to say this is the sound of Africa.